So I think this is kind of assumed by a lot of people, but I do want to make this video talking about this because this is something that actually is kind of, a lot of people are kind of confused about. But we are going to use the franchise tag this year on Tee Higgins, just like we did last year. The assumption with this franchise tag is we're going to sign him to a franchise tag, but we are not expecting to have to franchise tag him, if that makes sense. We're going to franchise tag him with the idea that we're going to sign him to a long-term deal. But with, free agency being literally less than a month away, franchise tag window ending on March 5th, there just isn't really a scenario where we're not going to franchise tag T. You want to get that extra window to be able to work with him. So once we franchise tag him, we'll have until July 22nd, just like last year, to sign him to a long-term contract. And with us still not having this Jamar Chase contract done, still not having this, Joe Burrow restructured contract done, we haven't cut anybody yet. We're still kind of in this limbo period. And then we have obviously the combine coming up at the end of this month. They're worrying about that. They're working on that. We are going to start to kind of see this. Wait, what's happening with Tee Higgins? And the first thing trending on Twitter is that exact purpose. So my guess is within the next couple weeks, we will get the news that Tee Higgins will be franchise tagged. So I want to make this video because don't be concerned. Don't be worried about that. If anything, it's just going to be giving us more time to work out a contract with him. And we'll have until July 22nd to get that deal done. Now, with that being said, there's also a chance after we franchise tag him, by the way, because again, we're not going to let him hit free agency. At the end of the day, that would be the worst thing we could possibly do because he would go and get paid crazy amounts of money. But we're going to try to, if we can't, let's say we franchise tag him, right? There's no way he plays on that franchise tag. He's going to want to be traded. If we cannot work out a contract, we will trade T after we franchise tag him. Now, that means if we trade him, we would have to trade him before July 22nd, as whoever we traded him to would have until July 22nd to work out a contract. After July 22nd, you can't sign a player to a long-term contract. It's like you get the 1-year franchise tag and that's it. So you want to get that contract done before July 22nd. So my guess is what's going to happen is we're going to work with him all of March, all of April, and all of May to try to get a contract done. If for whatever reason it does not get done and the Bengals are like, hey, he's asking for too much, we just don't want him, at that price tag, then we would look to shop him before the end of June to give ample time for whoever, we trade him to get a contract worked out with T. And my guess is based on, how the situation would probably go, we're probably going to work with T to see where he would want to go, right? So it would limit our options greatly because at the end of the day, we would have to work out a contract where, hey, listen, T, we want to work out a contract here, but I'm sorry, we're going to trade you here, but you need to work out a contract with that said team. So that limits the options. We'll have to wait and see how that ends up turning out. Now, they could transitional tag him. Transitional tag is pretty much means the franchise tag. It's a non-exclusive tag. So you have exclusive, non-exclusive. Exclusive is more money, but it means no one else can touch, talk, or do anything with T. A non-exclusive tag would mean that we are negotiating with him, but if any other team would like to negotiate with T or sign him to or potentially sign him to a contract, they would have to give us 2 first-round picks, one being this year, one being next year, and then they have the ability to negotiate with the said player, but we have the ability to match that said offer. So, for example, let's say the Patriots said, hey, we really want Tee Higgins, and we signed him to a non-exclusive franchise tag. They would come to us and say, hey, we'd like to negotiate with Tee Higgins. We say, okay, where's our 2 first-round picks? They give us our 2 first-round picks. We say, go ahead, give it your best shot, champ, whatever. They work out let's say they do work out a contract. He's like, oh yeah, I love that contract. Great contract. what ends up happening is they come back to the Bengals and say, okay, T has agreed to our terms. We'd like to go ahead and sign him. And that contract would be posted to the Bengals. The Bengals now have the ability to say, you know what? That's way too much money. Go at it. Have Tee Higgins. Or we have the ability to come out and say, you know what? That's exactly what we would think it was a good offer. We'd like to accept that contract, T. And then we would assume the contract of the Patriots. So whatever the Patriots agreed to, we would assume that contract. This is something that the Ravens was kind of theorizing the idea to do with Lamar Jackson when he became a potential free agent, when they franchise tagged him. This is a way, in a way, it's a way to get away with murder, but you can have other teams negotiate your contracts for you. Obviously, it's very dangerous because let's say he goes out there and the Patriots say, we'll pay you $35 million a year, buddy. Then obviously you're not going to come back and pay that, right? But if the Patriots go out there, let's say I'm just using Patriots example, they go out there and work out a pretty good deal with Tee Higgins, and the Bengals are like, ooh, we really like that concept. We like that idea. Then we have the ability to match that deal, and we will win because we franchise tagged him. So it's another way to, if you think a player is going to hit the open market, but they're not going to get that much money, you can work out a contract with them without working out a contract with them. And by the way, if we match the deal, then T would have to play for us. He would not have an ability to go play for the Patriots, even if he was like, you know what, Bengals, I don't want to play for you. I want to play for the Patriots. Does not matter. Non-exclusive tag means we have the full rights to Tee Higgins, and whatever contract he seeks, we would get in return. All right, so this is posted by Paul on Twitter, but this is, of course, the list of potential cuts we will see over the next set amount of time. But again, like I said, this process is going to really start kicking off fast. And now that we are in February 15th, we are in that window of the next 14 days of February are going to be 13 days of February, are going to be really crazy and amped up. So these guys you see on your screen right now are going to get cut. Franchise tags are going to be placed. And it just really all sparks up to this early March, which is going to be a little crazy. So hopefully we do figure things out. Hopefully we do get things in motion. But you're going to start seeing a lot of different things happening over the next 13 days. So just keep in mind, we are in the second half of February. This is when things get crazy. This is when the combine happens. This is when stuff comes out about players from the combine where, sometimes it's negative stuff, sometimes it's positive stuff, but sometimes there's a video release of someone in the gas mask. Hey, listen, Laramie Tunsil, still a great player in the end, but obviously, he got dropped a little bit of picks because of that. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.